Kevin Parker, you have just won the hottest 100 of the decade with
What?
The Less I Know, the Better.
Really?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Holy shit.
Yeah, you have
Oh, that came out of
Australia's...
nowhere. I thought you were going to like do a little run up or something.
No. You've got Australia's favourite song of the decade. You've actually never
Get
had
out.
a number one spot before in a countdown. You've come close so many times. What does it mean to you to
true.
come out on top?
It's honestly like a dream come true. It's something I always like dreamt about. Ever since I started listening to it. I can't describe how much of a big thing that is to me. Like it's more than anything else that other people talk about being a huge deal. Like like headlining festivals or Grammys or whatever. Like Hottest 100 is the closest thing to my heart. Of all that kind of stuff. So that it's unbelievable.
You've had 4 tracks in the countdown so far. At 66, you had Elephant. 65, feels like we only go backwards. 26, Let It Happen. And then, of course, the big number one, The Less I Know, the Better. Do you think the people voted those songs in the right order? Did they get it right?
I'm glad Elephant got in there. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, shit. You know what? I thought when I heard about this whole thing happening, I thought Less I Know might win it. Like if I'm being honest, like I was like, because it's a song that's like hung around for long enough, Like I don't know, it's like the little song that could. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, you wrote it in 2015. How do you feel about the song now compared to when you actually released it?
I like it. I think it's aged well for a song like that where it's like, it's probably my most pop song. Like it's not the song. It's not like, like I know a lot of artists have their like most popular song they're kind of sick of, But honestly, like I love playing it live. If I walk into a restaurant and it's playing, I'm not embarrassed. Like
do you strut?
It's me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a little bit for sure.
You said that you loved this song as soon as you wrote it. When it was just a little demo in your phone, could you have imagined it being Australia's favourite song?
Well, in that moment, yes, because whenever I start writing a song, I'm like, oh yes, this song is going to be amazing, And by the time I release it, I kind of hate it, And so it takes a while for me to like love a song again. But yeah, like when I'm just starting to work on a song, like I feel like you need to think a song could be Australia's favourite song. When you're starting it, like that's just kind of the magic of writing songs and not knowing what's going to happen, That kind of like ambition for it. So yeah, and I mean, obviously, I wouldn't if I'd thought seriously about it. I wouldn't have thought so in a million years. But yeah.
Do you have a message for all the Trevors out there, Kevin Parker?
The Trevors. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm sure a few Trevors voted for it. Actually, that's a good point. Hey, if your name's Trevor and you voted for it, thanks for being a good sport, buddy.
So where were you when you wrote The Less I Know, the Better?
I was in my room in a share house in Fremantle. I hadn't been there very long, actually, and I was trying to set my whole studio up there. Yeah. I recorded the drums outside because the room sounded so bad that I couldn't record drums in there. So I set them up outside, and that's why the drum sound is so like dead. It's so kind of like short, like yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but I wrote most of it in like a night. I was just kind of I just kind of like I just threw it together. Most of the parts is all written on this like one guitar synth, and I kind of just I've got an early demo of it somewhere, which I'll dig up if you want at some point.
Love that.
Of course, we always want an early demo.
It's like it's me singing like gibberish over the top. Like you can kind of hear me say like "Less I Know the Better" or something. Some of the lyrics kind of have their form in the like first 6 hours version of it. But yeah.
You've said before
that's
that
where I was.
Your vibe as well, like the headspace you're in, the zone you're in is really important when it comes to writing music. What sort of zone were you in? Like, what was your vibe when you wrote this?
I don't know. I was just by myself, just making music. I think the fact that I was in a new place kind of probably spurred on a few different melodic ideas, and I was really into this idea of making really kind of clean R&B disco kind of style music. Just because, like, you know, the album before was quite sort of blown out and like Lonerism was quite a crusty sound. So I was into this idea of making kind of like really clean, but at the same time really inspired and kind of weird pop music. So that's kind of what Less Known the Better. That's for me. That's kind of like the flagship of that idea for me.
And on that pop music tip, you have said before that you almost actually gave this song away to Mark Ronson. Have you spoken to him since about your decision to keep it or that process?
I think so. I think I have. I can't remember though. But yeah, no, it was his song for like 2 months. And that demo that I was telling you about, we were due to go and finish recording it for his album. And the whole time I was there, I was like rehearsing in my mind how to tell him that I was going to take the song back. Because I realized I'd made an awful mistake, you know. It was right at the end. I was like, Mark, so I was thinking, and he before I even said it, he knew what I was thinking. He was like, you want to take your song back? I was like, yeah. And he was like, dude, of course. He said, like, man, it sounds like you know, like if I put it on my album, it'd sound like I stole your hard drive. That was his exact words.
What sort of things have happened in your life since 2015 that would not have happened without the release of this song?
Probably everything. Like I always get asked in interviews, you know, like how do I explain the like continual rise or whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. Like how do you explain your success? And I'm like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But every now and then I have little sort of like nightmares about like if I'd never written The Less Known the Better, you know, because it's like I care about my albums because my albums are like complete things, but you know, that song undoubtedly has played a big part in reaching new audiences and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, it's a weird kind of sliding doors thing, right? You know, like I don't know.
The butterfly
effect. Yeah. Oh, that's it. Butterfly effect. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to look at the last 10 years and the rise of Tame Impala and also the rise of meme culture on the internet. And those two, music and meme culture, have come pretty intertwined recently. How do you think this has impacted Tame Impala's success?
I don't know. Like, I've been told that Less Known the Better has been on a few memes. Like, I haven't seen, there was that Justin Timberlake one, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
That was like TikTok. I guess it was something I was always kind of like intrigued by. Like, oh, I wonder if, you know, one of my songs was a meme. But like, you know, whatever. I guess it's one of those things that as soon as it happens, you wish it never did, you know? So I guess I'm grateful that it's had, you know, a little bit of that enjoyment.
You have had a couple shows cancelled recently because of coronavirus. How are you feeling generally about that? What's your mood?
I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. You know, it's kind of scary and weird, and no one knows what's going on. So uncertain. But I'm just taking the advice that I can from the people that I can, and like listening to scientists and people like that, and people. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going with it. If we have to postpone shows, we have to postpone shows. This is the way it is. But the way I see it, like, if we do postpone shows a couple of months or a few months, I'd kind of rather wait until this is all blown over so that we can really just enjoy ourselves and not have that in the back of our minds anyway. You know? So I'm kind of like, whatever, you know, whatever needs to happen.
For sure. Well, congratulations again on 4 spots in the Hottest 100 of the decade and taking it out with number 1.
Thank
the
you,
less
guys. That's
I know,
wild.
the better.
I'm going to spend the next week thinking about songs that should have beaten Less Known the Better. But
well, if you can find one, let us know, because Australia would disagree with you, I think.
thank you, guys. Holy shit.